All right, here's the sleds I've been teasing for a little while. They are 2002 Yamaha Mountain Max 700 triple. The seat's in a little bit of rough shape. Stickers are a little bit faded on this one. This one has 2,200 miles. And it's old, but it runs. And here we have the second one, which says it only has 318 miles. And actually, going over them, this one's a lot cleaner. It does have, the stickers are not as faded, but everything else is just about similar condition. Okay, so when I bought them this summer, they fired up first pull, but that's not the case now that it's colder out. And I was looking at the fuel, and it does not smell like fuel anymore. Well, draining the gasoline out of this worked really good. It's running a lot better. Before, it was having lean misfires and popping out of the exhaust and just not running good. All right, well, the one with more miles is running great. We just took it down the trail. I still need to get in, change the chain case oil. I need to lube the suspension. We're going to go ahead and service it all up, but I wanted to take it on a little test drive to make sure it didn't have any other problems, and it runs great. We just had a blast of the time. Alright, I have ordered some storage casters for the snowmobiles. These will go under the skis, this one will go under the rear track, just so that I can move the sleds around in the shop easier. And since these don't have reverse, I think this is going to make it easier to pull them straight in the shop, put them up on the dollies. I can turn them around and then drive straight back out. Well, there we go. These dollies make moving the sleds around the garage a lot easier. They worked out just as I had hoped, and on this nice smooth shop concrete floor, they really just roll around nice and even. Now we need to get on to the rest of the maintenance. All right, so I got a shipment of Yamaha chemicals. First one is Yamaha Snowmobile grease. I could probably just use marine grease. I suspect that's all they're looking for, is something waterproof, really sticky. But that's okay. We'll get some. I got the proper grease. I had to get a new gun to load it into because I already have a gun around here with marine grease and regular grease. 2-stroke oil. I always run Yamaha lube, 2-stroke oil. And then we've got a couple bottles of Yamaha lube chain case oil. Online, the specs say that these chain cases only hold 8 ounces, so I assume it's 1 per chain case. Hopefully that's correct. First thing we'll do is get this grease gun loaded, and we'll crawl under the snowmobile and start hitting all the zerk points. First look here at Yamaha lube snowmobile grease. It is just a natural color, so that's a little uninspiring that it's not some sort of race blue or race red, but I guess that's what's appropriate. But you know what? I got a gun for it, so it'll be performance. It's going to be really important to clean the grease nipples before you attempt to put grease in there, because there's often dirt and corrosion near the nipples. So clean them off before we go in. That way we don't inject any of that dirt into that fitting. I'm just following along the service manual to find all of the grease zerk locations. Okay, the next thing I want to address is the chain case oil. And I want to replace this exhaust donut, and since this muffler's coming out anyways, I'll be able to put a new exhaust donut in while I have it apart. So first thing we need to do is take all these springs off. Okay, there we go. Oof. There we go. Right, I hope I got my drain bucket in the right spot. So we're looking for this bolt right here, and it is a 12 millimeter. So let me see if I can crack it loose. Oh, got my little bucket. I hope catch the oil. If not, it's gonna make a big mess. I suspect the oil will be very thick flowing out of there. I'm gonna make a mess no matter what I do. Nailed it. So the other service point we saw in the book is the chain tensioner, and it's recommended that that be periodically adjusted. So we loosen the jam nut. That is a 14, and they don't want this being tightened past finger tight. So feel like it was pretty good, right about where it needed to be anyways. So now we can feel confident that that chain is tensioned properly. Alright, so here is our fill port right behind our pull starter rope. And I was trying to think about how I was going to get that in there, and what I came up with is getting a nipple off of a gear lube bottle, and it seems to fit this bottle okay. So let's see if this helps us not make a giant mess. My replacement donut here. Hopefully this is the right size. Yes. Just slide right in there. And I've checked that the oil is topped up, and now we're going to put that dipstick back in, and it just kind of hooks under that little bracket there. And there is a whole bunch of that gasket material stuck to this, so I want to make sure I chisel that off so that we get a good seal. Because drop it back in. Make sure we use that. Oh, yes I can. And now I'm just going to repeat that process on the second sled. Alright, the last thing I want to do is top up the coolant. So it's full. Yeah, it's not the best condition, but servicing the coolant on these is just a big mess, and I really don't want to do that right now. So I'm going to plan to service the coolant next summer when it's a little bit more comfortable to be out in the shop making a big mess. And that's it for servicing the snowmobiles for our first winter. Well, that's it. I've serviced the snowmobiles, and I believe they're up to winter condition. A lot of that service was just checking the fluid, knowing the history of the fluid. Not necessarily that it needed it, but just getting a baseline for service. And I still need to do the coolant, so I'll do that next summer when it's a little bit warmer out here and I can make a big mess. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe it even helped you service your own equipment. If you like this kind of content, make sure to like the video and subscribe to follow along with more DIY type content, and I'll see you in the next one.